New at 5:30 and from our 17 follow-up file tonight, the pandemic has put pressure on everyone, just about everyone, over the last couple of years. But that is an understatement for our first responders. Last year, we spent the day with an ambulance crew to see firsthand just what they were up against. A year later, now in the midst of the Omicron surge, we went back to see if anything's gotten better. 17's Marco Torres rode along with an ambulance crew and files this report.
First responders are overwhelmed by 911 calls throughout Kern County. I rode with the ambulance crews to see the emergencies they're dealing with themselves. And throughout the entire day, it was a mix of COVID-related issues and regular emergencies, which equaled a completely busy day. Paramedic Karen Turek and EMT Raul Soto were in the middle of their busy 12-hour shift. I joined them for 6 hours as they rushed across the county to answer emergency calls for help. Hall Ambulance has 315 first responders and covers 94% of Kern County. But Kern is a big place, and even with their workforce, Hall is stretched thin.
At the beginning, it was pretty actually scary. People were actually really sick from COVID the first time around. So for us, it was actually serious, very serious. We took it seriously. Company took it seriously, and hospitals were, of course, overwhelmed with COVID, but they did the best they could too.
The team set off almost immediately after I joined them. They told me sometimes a moment to breathe can come in between calls, but lately that moment doesn't come often. Call volume has increased, and even more than it was just a year ago.
Kern County's EMS system is taxed. It's pushed to its limits in the hospitals as well as with the ambulances.
The team arrived to scene after scene as we went all over Bakersfield, Arvin, and Lamont. Each stop came with a series of questions for all the callers. A key question: are you vaccinated? These questions came up with every patient. Many said they had not had their vaccinations. Now, only one of the calls that Turek and Soto responded to was COVID-related. But from what they told me, it usually leans more towards COVID calls with a mix of regular emergencies.
A lot of people still calling. They're very nervous about it. They're very scared, just in case, because of the previous waves were a lot of people hospitalized, ventilators. On top of COVID calls, we've got every other call that we've ever ran. So we've got medical calls, trauma calls, cardiac arrest, you name it. It's here in Bakersfield and Kern County.
The current demand for 911 calls because of COVID, because of the pandemic, regular 911 calls, the long waits that we have at the hospitals because they're backed up, they're short-staffed, and then our own sick calls, the burden is heavy.
One hospital we went to had 5 ambulance crews waiting. The issue deals with the overflow of people being admitted into hospitals.
After you treat them, take them to the hospital, and then turn right back around and do it all again. So yeah, it is long hours. Like I said, you see COVID, so you're fully gowned up, mask, face shield, gown, gloves. So it does get a little bit exhausting, but we're able to get through it. We're all in it together.
All calls are being answered to the best of Hall's ability, but dispatchers are forced to choose between the level of emergencies. This is part of the reason why a strike force of more than 11 ambulance crews of 32 professionals, 21 of whom are paramedics and 11 are EMTs, were called to help Kern County.
The number of calls coming through, it's exceeding the capacity. You only have a finite number of ambulances, paramedics, and EMTs under normal circumstances who can respond and answer the call. But there's a limit to everything, and so we're seeing that now.
But on the positive side, sanitizing and detoxing equipment and vehicles has changed a lot since we reported on this last year. Before, the process took 2 hours, but now it only takes 30 minutes. But with the higher call volume and longer wait times at the hospitals, this change only helps so much. First responders are still overwhelmed. They would kindly like to remind the community to only call 911 if it's a real emergency. A heart attack, a stroke, or chest pains count as this. But you can be certain that if you are having a real emergency, Hall Ambulance will be on the way. From downtown Bakersfield at Hall Ambulance headquarters, Marco Torres, 17 News.